Hey, what's up, video producers? I got another tutorial for you. This one is the heads-up display. Okay, so we're going to right-click on MVI0026 and new comp from selection. And this is going to be the footage of Ryan eating the Snickers bar. And I'm going to select out, let's see, right where we see Ryan with the Snicker bar. So right about there, that's 3 seconds and 13 frames, and I'm going to do Control-Shift-D or Edit Split Layer in here. And then we're going to go to the end where Ryan puts it in his mouth. And that's when Rafa loses it. And there's nothing left to target here, so we're going to split the layer again. So we're going to go to Edit Split Layer or Control-Shift-D, make another duplicate. Now here's the tricky part. We're going to lock onto the target, that Snicker bar that's in Ryan's hand. So in order to do that, we have to do what's called motion tracking. So we click on this middle layer. This is the layer that we're going to track. And we're going to go up to Window and Tracker. Okay, I had mine checked, so I'm going to open up Tracker again. Down in the lower right hand corner is going to probably pop up. We're going to go to Track Motion. And right here in the middle, there is this little box that you can extend out. And this has an inner box and an outer box. And as you click and drag it around, you can get it to lock on to a certain pixel. It's actually looking for one specific pixel. And then as you analyze it or play it down in the lower right hand corner, it's going to try and follow that point as well as it can. Now, because Ryan moves so much and the footage is shaky, it's kind of difficult. So you're going to have to go slow with this. Sometimes you're going to have to do analyze one frame. Okay? And what it's going to do is Ryan's going to move one frame, and you want to make sure that that target is staying with the candy bar. And I'm going to keep going here. If you're feeling confident, if the footage is quite a bit more still, you can push the play here, and it'll analyze several frames at a time. It'll just keep going forward until you hit stop. You're going to do this and analyze it until you get to the end of that layer some 5 seconds later. Now you're going to have some problems probably along the way where Ryan is going to move a lot, and you're going to have to go back and manually adjust the tracking point. Now if you watch it real carefully, you're watching for it to get off target here, and if it does, then you have to readjust it. Oh, and it gets off there. It's off the pixel. So I'm going to push page up until it's lined up again. And then I can see if it'll work if I just analyze the one frame forward. Oh, and it really doesn't. So I'm going to readjust it, analyze one frame forward. And I might have to manually move it each time. Yep. Page down, move it, page down, move it, page down, move it. And now it seems to be working again. So maybe I can play it a little bit. So it's a delicate dance. You might have to go back and use page up and page down and readjust the track point while you're tracking. I'm going to come back to this after everything is tracked and show you the next step. I've tracked all my points now. And now I can apply it to a null object. It's always important to apply the tracking information to a null object, and then you're going to parent things to that null object and all sorts of cool stuff like that. Okay, so we go to motion source. That should be that middle 026 footage. Current track, tracker 1, track type raw, that's all good. And we're going to want to click on, oh, we got to make a new layer. We got to go to Layer, New, and Null Object. We're going to right click on this. I'm going to call it Tracker. and I'm going to click on the Edit Target, and then I'm going to apply the tracker, Edit Target of this tracker. So taking all this track information, and I'm going to apply it to, I'm going to click the Apply to the tracker. Alright, so now I have this tracker here, this null object. If I go back to composition, it's this red box right here, and it moves along all those track points that I have from before. Okay, now what I want to do is I'm going to make the heads up to like the targeting system in a new composition. So composition, new composition, we're going to call this target, and we're going to do 720 by 720. Just make a nice square composition. Okay. Going to go to Polygon tool, just click in here, drag something out. We're going to make a triangle from this. So we have our shape layer here. We clicked and held on the rectangle tool. We went down to Polygon tool. We dragged out our polygon here. We're going to open up Polystar, or under contents here, Polystar and Polystar path. We're going to open that up, and we're going to bring the points down to 3. Oh, not 30, 3. And we'll just kind of rotate this so it's angled down like that. That looks good. And we're going to move that up to there. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller, so we're going to go to the Transform Polystar. We're going to go to Scale. We're just going to scale that down a little bit. We're going to unclick that Constrain Proportions thing. We're going to make it a little bit thinner like this. Okay, now we have a good size triangle that we're going to use for our targeting system. So we're going to duplicate this 2 times. So we have 3 triangles, 1 and 2. And then we're going to go to Layer, New, Null Object, and we're going to use some parenting to rotate this stuff around. So we're going to parent one of them to the null object. We're going to push R on the keyboard for rotation on the null object. We're going to rotate that around 120 degrees. Okay? And now we're going to parent the second one to it, and we're going to rotate it to 240 degrees. And then we parent the third one to it. Now the order is important there, because now what we can do is we can rotate just the null object, and we have a cool spinning targeting system. So to make this work, I'm going to just do stopwatch on the rotation here. I'm going to go ahead to the end of it, and I'm going to type in, so like we got 30 seconds, so I'm going to do, I don't know, 40 rotations. That's a nice targeting system. Okay, now you can add more shapes to your targeting system if you want, but this is, you know, good enough. So I'm going to take targeting system, I'm going to put it in here, and we want to parent the targeting system. We want to parent that to the tracker. So we're going to start it on the center of this. We should maybe scale that down too. So I hit S on the keyboard, scale, and then I'm going to parent the target to the tracker. So now everywhere the tracker is, or everywhere that null object is, it's going to lock onto the candy bar. Okay? Now let's add some other cool things into our heads-up display. Okay. First of all, it should kind of fade red. And we should go layer, new, solid. Okay. And we'll draw a nice, take a oval here, and we'll just kind of cut it out in the middle. I'll just double click that oval there, and then we'll go to mask, do feather, change it from add to subtract, and let's see, let's feather it out a lot here. And then we'll go to type in T for opacity, and we'll turn the opacity down. So we just get a nice red kind of outline on there, and we should have that fade in over the first second as Rafa is kind of turning into a robot here. Okay, so it's just going to fade to a little bit of red. He's going to look up. And there he has the tracking. Okay, now we want to add some other random kind of numbers and targeting systems and things that'll pop up on the sides as Rafa is tracking the Snicker bar and he's about to attack and go after Orion. What I'd recommend is that you do the things from the tutorial that's on the Google Classroom. The Futuristic HUD tutorial by Video Copilot, and that should take you through enough. But that's how you do the targeting system for that effect.